Okay, welcome to Podnutz Daily, episode number 184. I think it's 184. I'm pretty sure it's 184, so I'm just going to say 184. If it's not, we'll edit that out later. Anyway, today I'm joined with Bryce Whitty from TechNibble.com, and it's the first time he's been on Podnutz Daily, so this is good because we're going to be able to ask Bryce some detailed things about what he's been doing on some computers lately. How are you doing over there, Bryce?
Good. How are you?
Pretty good. You're calling in from Australia, so it's about 10 o'clock over there, right? A.M. in the morning.
Yes.
And it's
one day ahead of you.
One day ahead of me. I'm at 8 p.m. on the 25th. Bryce is 10 a.m. on the 26th. And, well, Bryce, before I start, I just want to make a quick announcement. Last chance about pre-ordering the laptop repair videos. If you go to podnutz.com, the laptop repair videos are on you can pre-order them for $20 cheaper than the release date price. Release date's going to be September 1st, so go check out the details over there if you want. And okay, let's just get into this, Bryce. Thanks for joining us on Podnutz Daily.
That's no problems.
And basically, I wanted to ask you, because I'm not working at the shop anymore, what do you tell us about some of the computers you're working on and some of the things you're finding out?
Probably one of the most interesting ones that appeared recently. I recently went out to a retirement home to fix a printer. It was an old HP printer, about 4 years old or so.
Okay.
She's saying it had an error message on the screen, so I went out and it said the message was something like, error in the right tank, please check the blank cartridge, the black cartridge, or something to that effect. I can't remember the exact message.
Inkjet printer?
It was the inkjet, yes.
Okay.
She recently installed it. The cartridge that it was complaining about was recently installed, so I'm thinking, okay, maybe it's just a bad cartridge that it's just complaining about. So I put in an old cartridge, exact same problem. I was finding it quite weird that both cartridges were not working, so I'm thinking, okay, it's obviously most likely going to be a printer problem itself. I opened it up, took a look at it. I found that there was actually a hole punched in the contact pad, you know, where the printer cartridge touches the gold contacts.
Yes.
And there's little electronic wires. Well, somehow there was a hole punched straight through that. I looked at the cartridge itself, and it's got little ridges that pop out. So if it wasn't installed correctly and it didn't go in on quite the right angle, it could quite easily punch a hole straight through it. And it's quite obvious that that is the issue because actual wires have been severed from it.
Huh.
So that's most likely going to be the problem.
So they were severed. They were severed on the not the cartridge itself, on the other side, on the printer side.
Yeah, it was the printer. She inserted it wrong and somehow punched a hole straight through it.
Wow.
I show her and say this is what the issue is, and being that this printer is fairly old and it's fairly it's pretty a basic level, it's going to be way cheaper just to replace it. While the part can be technically replaced, it'll just cost a lot more. So something like this at the shops will be about $50 US.
Yeah. I mean, printers these days, they're practically disposable because they kill you on the ink. Yeah,
definitely. They're pretty painful on the ink. I think the ink was worth more on the printer.
Yeah, and I think ink is one of the most expensive liquids on this planet. I think I read somewhere.
Yeah, I've seen a graph they had, and they showed like the cost of a really fine wine was this much. The cost of oil was like $100 a barrel, and the cost of printer ink was $8,000 a barrel.
That's awesome.
So when you complain about putting $100 into your tank, it's not as bad as ink.
It's true. Oh, that was a good one. Yeah, I don't fix printers that much because, they always seem to be a pain for me. I always kind of try to avoid them, but I give them a shot sometimes. So that was good that you found that out for me.
Yeah, there's quite a bit more to that story though.
Sure.
She didn't seem happy with that. Like I really want to deliver value. I don't want to say, "Oh, just buy a new one and be on my way."
Right.
She asked me to call HP about it and see what they say. So I sat on the phone for about 20 minutes waiting for someone to pick up, and they pretty much said the exact same thing. They said either take it to a service technician, like an official HP service technician, but seeing that it's a 4-year-old printer, it's probably best just to buy a new one. So I say to her, it's really going to be much cheaper just to buy a new one. It's hardly worth getting a technician out or anything. It's just $50, and you set up, and if you like, I can run out and set it up for you and buy you a new one.
Right.
So, but she still asked me to call a HP service technician, call around, find out there isn't one anywhere near us. Let's see. Being that she's fairly elderly and not very mobile, she wanted one to come out to her. So I said, if you took it to them, maybe they could diagnose it for free. I'm not 100% sure, and just charge for the parts. But if you got someone coming out to you, taking time, using petrol, you're definitely going to be up for at least $100, $150, $200. I don't really know, but it's most likely not going to be cheap.
Yeah.
Let's see.
What did she do?
I'm just trying to remember that one. It was a couple days back.
Did she? So she still wanted a technician to come out?
Yeah, she still wanted she still wanted one to come out. I thought it was pretty crazy.
It's amazing. But anyway, you got to remember the end of the story. You got us all in suspense now.
Yeah. In the end, she still wanted to call one, and I said, well, there's not really much more I can do. And I assure you that it will be cheaper. I'm not trying to make a sale because you can buy it from anywhere you want, so I don't have a vested interest like some of the big box stores.
Right.
But it will be much cheaper to do that, and she still wanted to go ahead with that, so I charged a basic diagnostic fee and went on my way.
Wow. So she's probably going to get an HP guy to come out then.
She probably is, but she's going to get caught out. I said to her, I don't want you to get caught out. I don't want an HP guy come out. You pay $200 and then have him say, just go buy a new one, because you still have to spend the $50 anyway. What
was her attitude during this whole thing, Bryce? Was she like skeptical of you, or she understood what you were saying, but she really liked that printer, or what?
I got a feeling she really liked the printer. Uh-huh. I thought she was being skeptical at first. I was really carefully explaining it to her. Like, that's why I was saying things like, I don't have a vested interest in this. You can buy it from wherever you want. I'm not trying to make a sale and just try and make a little markup rather than actually trying to fix it.
Right.
But I think she's just used to it. Being elderly, I think she's just stuck in the. She knows that one. She's used it for the last 4 years. She likes it. Right. So. Gotcha. I guess that's the attitude I was getting.
And I guess she's from the time period of when they actually fixed things instead of buying new things.
Yes, exactly.
Interesting. Very interesting.
One of the next jobs I went out to that's probably worth mentioning was a virus removal. Fairly typical adware, pops up all sorts of things.